and he like puts his hand like kind of out for a second, real quick, goes into his pocket, pulls out a wad of bills, takes $100 bill, hands it to her, says thank you, and like it was a normal thing. Like if you didn't do that, it was weird. You know what I mean? Like he just gives her a tip for stopping to do the, which was really nice of him. You know what I mean? But it was just Ric Flair living.
Sure. I've never been in the business, so I don't like using this word, but I will say that is a man that does not break kayfabe. Whether it be the
Yeah.
70s to 2018, Ric Flair is Ric Flair through and through.
Oh, without a doubt, man, for sure. Yeah, that was so cool, man. He walked by me, and I was like, it was one of those things where like 10 thoughts go through your head at the same time, and I was like, I gotta say something to Rick. This is Ric Flair. I can't let him walk past me. And I'm like, hey man, I'm from someone like me trying to get in, get my foot in the door. What would I have to do? And he goes, are you signed here now? And I'm like, no, no, sir. He's like, well, you got to get to NXT. I'm like, okay, well, so how do I do that? And he's like, you got to get to NXT. I'm like, yeah, no, absolutely, that's the goal. And he's like, definitely, just get to NXT. And he walks away. I'm like, okay, but how do I do that?
I'm going to tell you where to go, but I'm not going to tell you how to get there.
Yeah, don't give me any direction whatsoever. Just tell me where I need to be. But um, another funny story. Did I tell you the Vince McMahon story? I know I'm not on here, but did I tell you it?
No, I didn't hear the Vince McMahon story.
Okay, so the first time I ever met Vince McMahon was backstage in Monday Night Raw. You ever played WWE 2K17?
I've probably played them
I'm
all.
sure,
I'm
yeah.
embarrassed.
Like storyline mode, right? Where you're your created guy walking around backstage. And I'm going to start, kind of cover myself here. My 5-year-old loves wrestling, so we were playing as his created guy. It wasn't me.
I will actually now make a Mike Magnum create a character in WWE 2K18 when I get home. That's a shoot, and I will post the creation online.
Oh, awesome. All right, cool. Thanks. So that might be the only one ever in a video game. What do you call it? So we were walking backstage, and you see in the game Hunter and Vince standing outside the production room talking to each other, and the creative guy kind of stops and looks up, and they stop their conversation and look at him, and like kind of nod heads and look back and start talking to each other, and the creative guy kind of walks away. And I lived that exact moment, like in 2014. They're standing outside the production office talking to each other, and everybody says, "Don't talk to Vince, don't talk to Hunter, don't talk to them. They're busy. Don't talk to them. Don't talk to them." And anytime, even before that, I ever saw Hunter, he talked to me. He would go out of his way to be like, "Hey, what's up, man? How are you? Hey, good. Shake your hand. How are you? Mike. Hey, Hunter. Nice to meet you. Good luck, buddy." Like I've heard horror stories about him, and like from someone like me, they always say, "Don't meet your hero because you'll always be disappointed," and that was my biggest fear. And he was always so awesome. Always went out of his way to say, "Hey." He was at my tryout at the Performance Center. Took a picture, tweeted it out on his Twitter about our tryout, getting started. Like I've never had anything but like awesome experiences with him, even though they were only a few seconds, every time. But anyways,
he never had any bad experiences with Hunter. Okay,
I haven't either. That's fine.
I'm just saying you're not a big Hunter guy. That's all I'm saying.
I'm a big Hunter guy now. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so you're not a big Hunter guy. 2005.
So is it more so because of like things getting the way booking goes, or why is that?
I think it was, so when he was, I was maybe 18 to 20 years old when he was coming into that stage I found out he was dating Stephanie, and it was the 2002, 2003 Triple H, I think, where he was kind of, in the main event for like a year and a half straight, and he was going over guys like Booker T, RVD, and stuff like that. I think that was kind of where I had a little bit of an issue at the time.
Over kind of.
Yeah, it was that kind of thing. But from 2004 forward, I liked him a lot because of the evolution thing. And he worked a lot of really, really good matches in 2004, I think, with like HBK and Benoit and like all that stuff. And like from there forward, and now obviously everything he's doing with NXT is like that's like my favorite wrestling program to watch. So I'm a big fan of his now.
I'm not a big fan of how he has to be in the picture with everybody when they sign to NXT. It's like, just so you know, Hunter's still here. No matter who signs, there's that picture with Hunter and the shade, But
I think it's cool because they get to take a picture, with Hunter, like, yeah, I'm doing this, I'm here. But I also think it's kind of him rubbing it in guys' faces that were like, Hunter's not in tune with the indies, he doesn't know what the fans want, and he's kind of standing there like sticking like, oh really, smiling, shaking hands with like the big indie darling that he just signed. You know what I mean?
Every week you see that. Question: I know you said you don't really keep up with the product right now. Did you watch NXT last weekend?
No, I didn't. I heard that Gargano wrestled for the title. I heard it was like an unbelievable match. But no, I don't really watch. I mean, I got where we met. I work full time for what I'm doing now, and it's a lot of work and long hours. I got two kids. I'm married, and it's kind of hard to sit down and watch like a full pay per view. And I'm not really interested in it, honestly. Once I got out of that whole like trying to get the WWE thing, it was kind of like, and I had been backstage so many times, and I'd met so many people that it was like I couldn't really get into a fan mode anymore to watch it. You know what I mean? And I was okay with that, but
That's how I feel when I sell vitamins. That's a true story.
Oh, that's nice.
But so anyway, the Vince thing. So right, so I'm like, oh, don't say anything to them. I can't talk to them. I just nodded my head and walked away. So then, like fast forward an hour, going in the bucket of like old Party City costumes for the Rosebud spot, right? Uh,
True
again,
story. Me and Joe used to work at Party City, and that's where I met this guy.
how it
A Party City reference. Nice. That's awesome.
I'm tacking on points here, man. This is cool. So what do you call it? So I picked the Robin Hood costume because it was the only one without a mask or that wasn't food. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'll put that on. And I was like, I just won't wear the hat, so it'll just look like I'm wearing a green vest and like brown pants or whatever it was. So I'm getting the bathroom. I get because the extra talent locker room was literally a closet underneath the bleachers of the arena, and I'm like, I'm not changing in here. So I go in the bathroom, I change, I come out of the bathroom, change, use the bathroom, so I wash my hands, whatever. I walk out of the bathroom, and when I walked out of the stall, when I was changing, and Dean Malenko and Michael Cole were there, taking a whiz next to each other, talking about booking stuff. I thought that was pretty funny. So then I got out of the bathroom, and I throw I'm like weird with germs, and which is go figure. I'm a wrestler, wrestling around with a bunch of sweaty, dudes, and I hold the paper towel to open the door with. You know what I mean?
I do the exact same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does too. I'm totally with you on that one for sure.
So I did that, and then I put my foot on the door. I threw the paper towel out. Turn around, I take 2 steps out of the bathroom, and there's Vince walking down the hallway by himself. And so in my head, you get 1,000 thoughts, but in my head, I'm like, the first time I'm ever going to meet Vince McMahon backstage Monday Night Raw. This is crazy. And then I realize in a Peter Pan costume. So I'm like, and like the whole don't say hi to him thing, I'm like, dude, this guy's a man's man. He's been around forever. It's Vince McMahon. I'm not going to not say hello to him. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? Turn a sharp corner real quick and pretend I didn't see him, and then he's going to be like, screw that guy,
That awkward like ex-girlfriend duck out of the way kind of thing. Come on, right. Like you said, he's a man's man. Just shake his hand and say hi.
Right. So I go over and I'm like, hey, how you doing, sir? My name's Mike. It's an honor to meet you. And he grabs me, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if he was going to walk by. I didn't know. Like, it seems like such a harmless thing. Yeah, I went to go shake Vince's hand. Like, dude, you have no. He could have screamed at me, been like, what are you talking to? Could have walked right past me. Like, he grabs my hand, bro, like shakes it with his right hand and then grabs the back of my hand with his left hand, smiles like freaking the Grinch, bro, like ear to ear, and is like, Mike, it's a pleasure to meet you. Vince, how are you, kid? And I'm like, wow, yes. Like, so best possible case scenario. So I'm like, oh, I'm doing great. I'm like, thank you. And he said, the funny thing was, he goes, hey, Mike, Vince, like, I'm not going to know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you're the guy that owns all this, right? So I'm like, man, it's such an honor to meet you, sir. I said, I said, I know that and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but I know you probably have nothing to do with this and have no idea that I'm even here. But thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm not going to let you down. Anything you need from me, I'm here. Thank you. And he was like, just go out there and do your job, do it well, kid. And then that was it. And it was just like, I ran into the locker room, texted my dad. I'm like, Dad, I just met Vince McMahon. He's like, oh, it's so cool. I'm like, yeah, I was wearing a Peter Pan costume though. And I go in the locker room and I see Biff. He's sitting there by himself, and I'm like, he's like, what the hell are you smiling about? And I'm like, yo, I just met Vince McMahon. He's like, oh yeah, did he sign you? I'm like, no. He's like, all right, cool.
Listen, Vince will always remember that though. It's not just the regular run-of-the-mill guy that walks up to him. It's a Peter Pan costume, man.
Right? Yeah, exactly. And I'm sure he walked away 2 seconds later. It was like, who the hell was that kid in the Peter Pan costume? But no, it was cool, man. Yeah, that was cool. That was one of the things that I'll never forget, dude. Like, if I forget everything else, that would be one of the things. Like, I'll always remember meeting Vince McMahon, dude. That was so cool.
Yeah. Talk about like meeting your heroes, like you said. Now, I know you said family, kids, and everything, and you walked away from the WWE, but you didn't walk away from professional wrestling entirely.
Yeah, no.
So talk to us a little bit about Full Faith Wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the horizon, and while I'm here, let me just plug it: Full Faith Wrestling One on Instagram and on Twitter.
Yes, thank
So
you. Facebook too. Um, yeah, well, right now, so what Full Faith Wrestling is my wife and I kind of collaborated on this. So I wanted to kind of come full circle, like I got into wrestling at a church, and I believe, in my faith that if it wasn't for, God kind of putting a banner on his church and being like, hey, Mike, this is the only possible way I'm going to get you to come to church is if there's a wrestling show here.
literally, like throwing it directly in front of you, like
Yeah,
you
like
have to look at this.
it would have been more obvious if he like literally struck me with a lightning bolt. You know what I mean? Like it was like, dude, get your butt in here. I want to know you. I want you to know me. And so and I battled myself that whole night. Like I was like, nah, whatever. It's a coincidence, like no. But it just didn't feel like that to me. And I've never been one to believe in coincidences, even before, all that. But so what Full Faith Wrestling is I just wanted to kind of create something where we can go into places and do charitable events for churches, charitable events for charities, for people, for kids, a positive atmosphere for wrestling fans, a positive atmosphere to go. I'd love to one day have a school and train kids. And the thing for me is that like I have so much wrestling knowledge. I'm not the most experienced guy. I'm not the greatest wrestler in the world. I'm not anything like that, but I have so much knowledge from picking people's brains like William Regal, like Gangrel, like Luda Vachon, like John Heidenreich, who's amazing. I did seminars with him, Norman Smiley, Matt Bloom. I know what the WWE's looking for right now. I was only there 3 years ago. I was at the Performance Center. That's not that long ago. I mean, times change every day, but like I know what they're looking for. I know what it takes to get there. And I would love to be able to share that knowledge with people. And I want to be able to do it in a safe, comfortable, environment where, listen, I'm not looking to convert people. You know what I mean? I would love that. That's as a Christian, that's part of the goal. You want people to know, to know the Lord and to know what He can do for you. But I mean, is that absolutely necessary? No. I just want to have a positive, safe atmosphere for kids and young adults and people taking wrestling seriously and people that just like, hey, I want to cross off my bucket list and learn how to be a wrestler and take some bumps and be able to do that. I just, dude, I just want to be able to share all the experience of all the hard work I put in and be able to bring people to an atmosphere that's God filled and filled with positivity. You know what I mean? And right now we're really in the very, like you said, beginning stages. We have a GoFundMe, just trying to raise money to start getting a show underway to maybe get a building, get a ring, all that stuff. If anybody feels led at all to donate to that, if you don't mind, it's GoFundMe.com/FF Wrestling. $5, $1, I mean, anything anybody can give, it would go such a long way, and it would mean so much to me personally for all the hard work I put in to be able to have some support and being able to give back to wrestling, and to churches too. I mean, it's if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. I would have probably never, got as far as I did in wrestling. That's for sure. And I just would love to be able to if I could touch one person, man, in a positive way. That was really how I got into it. If I could tell you one more story, and it's not really a wrestling story. When I was a kid, I mean, Triple H was always my guy, but it's kind of funny. I was watching Maury. Okay. Yeah. I think I was.
Listen, we've all been homesick from work and watched Maury on
I mean,
Channel 11 at 8 a.m., so it's not just you.
No, here's the thing. I was homesick from school. I think I was like 15. And Goldberg. So here's the deal. There was a kid on there, and one of the things I loved about wrestling was that, like their charity stuff, their Make a Wish stuff, and there was a kid on there that had some kind of issue, and it was like all he wanted to do was meet Goldberg. That was his guy. Goldberg was in WWE at the time. And they were like, I want to meet Goldberg. I love wrestling, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, wow, cool. Like another thing where I don't believe in coincidences. I feel like God made me stay home from school that day, made me put that show on so that I could see this and get like excited about it and be like, wow, as a wrestler, not only can I go live my selfish dreams, for lack of a better term, but I can live the dream of being able to give back to people because the kid's sitting on stage, all of a sudden Goldberg music plays and he comes out on the stage and the kid starts crying and laughing. And this is a kid that's like been wheelchair bound since he was born. Never